Welcome back to Behind the Bower. I'm your host, Susan Martin, Executive Director of Bower Center for the Arts. And on our podcast, we offer inspiring conversations, a fresh look at arts in our community, and provide spotlights on artists, performers, collaborative partners, educators, and organizations throughout the community. We want to celebrate the universal expression of human experiences through arts, culture, and our community. And this morning, I'm very excited to introduce our guest today, Wendy Rowden. She is a board member of a community organization, Bedford Get Together. So good morning, Wendy, and welcome.
Hello, thank you.
Yeah. So let's just start out by allowing you to introduce yourself and tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Okay, my name is Wendy Rowden. I joined Bedford Get Together in, I believe, 2017. That's roughly when it started. It's a local nonprofit that we're kind of organized around doing good in the community, helping people kind of get to know each other better across different community groups, so that we can, for example, we had events in Edmund Street Park where we brought together a bunch of different nonprofits and diverse groups, and we're just trying to get people to talk to each other more, and
Yes.
have different experiences and get to know each other better.
Right. Yes.
So that's kind of overall what Bedford Get Together does.
So tell me a little bit about your background. How long have you been in Bedford? And then what specifically interested you in being a part of this organization? And I imagine kind of helping to create this organization.
Yeah, I wasn't there at the very beginning, but okay. So my background, I'm not from Bedford. I think to say you're from Bedford, you have to have been here for like 20 generations or something.
Exactly.
I've been here about 25 years. And some friends of mine started it. So that's how I got involved. They said, hey, are you interested in coming and helping us out? And I'm like, heck yeah,
Right.
I like to get involved where I'm living and really get to know a lot of different people. And I was working full time at the time, and it was hard because most of my work was outside of this town. So I retired about a year ago, and I've really been digging deep into the town now, getting involved in a lot of different things in the town. So.
Yes.
But Bedford Get Together itself was very exciting because it was just a lot of people I already knew, and then we were meeting more and more people as we went along with our projects.
Right. Tell us, you mentioned the first event, and tell us a little bit more about what other events have taken place over the years that the organization has coordinated.
Okay. Our first event was in 2017, and we decided we were going to put on a party in the park, so to speak.
Right.
And we used Edmund Street Park, which is a sort of an underutilized space in town. A lot of people didn't even know about it.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, we had some feedback after the event where people said, I didn't even know this park existed.
Right.
And they lived in town for, long time. So we invited a bunch of different people, and we put on different, we had some yoga demonstrations. We had a guy come and do some cooking demonstrations. We had political discussion at one point between a left-wing person and a right-wing person.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a lot of fun. We started our story project at that event as well, which we can get into later.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of the beginning of our Bedford story.
Right.
And then we had a second one in 2018. And then we had a smaller event in 2019, not in the park, but and then of course the pandemic hit.
Right.
We kind of switched gears, and instead of big things, we started doing smaller things.
Right.
And so now we've kind of going in a little bit different direction, although we're certainly not ruling out doing those events again because they were popular.
Right.
But right now we're kind of into a couple other things.
Exactly. And we're going to get to those in a few moments.
Okay.
I know that you all also do some annual recognitions of individuals in the community. Tell me a little bit more about those and why you're wanting to recognize community members.
Okay. Well, again, that's part of our mission,
right,
to bring people together. So we annually give out awards called Community Service Awards.
Mm-hmm.
And the nominations are actually open right now. So you can go on our website at bedfordgettogether.com
Mm-hmm.
and nominate somebody in 4 different categories. There's a nonprofit category, individual category, and a business category. We used to have a government category, but we realized we were going to soon run out of people
to recognize.
Yeah, so we changed it this year to a lifetime achievement.
Oh, that's
award.
nice. Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
So we've got the 3 nonprofit, business, and individual, and then the lifetime achievement award. And we'll close the nominations for that sometime this spring. I don't remember, maybe May, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll give out the awards usually in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really have a date for that yet. But we're trying to allow people in the community to recognize other people in the community that they know have done good work, for the community.
Right.
That they should be recognized by everyone else. That maybe what they're doing is something that people aren't going to automatically recognize. It needs to be kind of pointed out.
Right,
and let
right.
people know. So
yeah, it sounds like it's a great opportunity to kind of recognize those folks that are more behind the scenes, that they're doing a lot of great work to support something in their community, but they're not making a big deal about it, or they're not getting a lot of accolades or recognition for it, and they truly deserve that.
And that's especially true of the nonprofits.
Right.
There's just a lot that we have a lot of nonprofits in this area, which we'll talk about again. Remind me to talk about Giving Day. But a lot of them do just so much all year long. And, if you're around that community, you know about it. But if you're not, it's something that you miss. And
yes,
so
we're very
aware
to hear
about it.
Yes, we're very aware as a nonprofit that if one more person says we're a best kept secret or a hidden gem, I'm going to...
Exactly.
We nonprofits don't want to be little hidden gems. We want people to know about them and the opportunities that we offer, and or the services and programming. And there's so many opportunities out there for individuals in our community. And there are some great resources regionally to find nonprofit organizations and learn more about them. But I've always been curious as to what we could do more here in our own community, and maybe that's something for the future that we can work on to make it easier for individuals to find information on the nonprofit organizations right here in our own Bedford community.
Bark helps a lot.
It does. Bark, and there is a Share app, Share Greater Lynchburg, which is Lynchburg and surrounding counties. And then, obviously there's United Way and other places. A lot of those are health and human service related and not specific to other smaller organizations that do things that people just aren't aware of.
Right.
So yeah, there's great opportunity there. And you all do a great job as your organization, sharing that information as well. So we're very appreciative of that.
Thank you.
So let's circle back. You talked about the story project. So let's talk a little bit about how that got started, and what you're doing going forward with the stories that you're sharing.
Okay. As I said, it started in 2017, and we just collected some oral stories from some people at our park event. And we have kind of rethought that, and we're going forward now with collecting stories. And we call it our Bedford stories.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking for people to tell just a little small story from their life, just an event, or something that was funny, or just something that meant something to them. It doesn't have to be it's not a written thing. It's not going to be a chapter in a book or anything. It could be a few sentences. But we just want people to tell their stories so that we can share them with other people. So last year we kind of rethought this whole thing, and we decided to call it Our Bedford Story. And we started doing groups where we would go to groups, established groups like book clubs, Rotary clubs, stuff like that. And we would have sessions where we actually got people to tell their stories all at once. And we did it in writing. We had them write them out.
Right.
We've since decided that may not be the best way, because a lot of people had some trouble with that.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're focusing more on oral stories. But we had a PhD student help us out to start out with. She kind of provided the organization for us so that we did it right. And, we gave her permission and got permission from our storytellers for her to use this in her PhD studies.
Right.
So it helped her and it helped us, and it really got us organized. So what we're doing now is we're going on an individual basis rather than groups, and although we're doing some groups too, and we're just trying to get people to tell us their stories.
Right.
So we're going to be at the farmers market this year,
Mm-hmm.
a couple times a month. We'll be there, and we just say, hey, you want to come tell us something that you think is funny or that you might want to share with somebody. And the idea is that we share these stories. They're being shared in the newspaper right now once a month. We have the idea that we might share them publicly in public spaces, frame them, hang them on the wall, have a photograph. And,
I just wrote a note.
Yeah.
Talk more about that and how the Bauer Center might be able to collaborate on that.
Exactly. So we want to put these out there in the community where people can read them and say, oh, I remember that. Or I had a story similar to that. And actually on our website, they're published, and you can go in there and put a comment on the story, or you can actually tell your own story on the website if you want to do that too. You have to type it in, but
right.
Or you can always email us and say, hey, come interview me.
Right. So, yeah, that would be really neat.
Yeah, so we're having a good time over at Salem Court Apartments right now.
Okay.
Some of those people are super excited, and they've got some fantastic ideas about how to present them as well.
That's awesome.
So, yeah it's fun.
I love that. My mind is already
and we're always looking for people to help us collect the stories.
Right.
So
yes, that's the other thing too, is I'm thinking of what do we do already at Bauer Center where you might be able to take advantage of collecting stories as well, or we could have a collection space.
Yes.
Also for the public.
Yeah, I want to get some kids' stories too. So.
Well, we have plenty of those, and summer's coming, so summer camps we could do. I'll look at what we're doing with our programming as far as our summer camp things, because we do a lot of creative writing and things like that. So it might be a nice tie-in to one of our summer camps and let the kids kind of tell their story. Yeah,
that would be really, really fun for them. I think I think the farmers market, we're going to get some kids to tell us some stories too. So
yeah. So we also wanted to talk today about the mural project.
Yes.
And so I know that, from my participation and what I know, that this is intended to be a mural to pay tribute to contributions made by Bedford's diverse military members, correct? And so tell us a little bit about, how the project started and then where we are now with the calls for artists.
Okay. So the project started when Bill Mosley, one of our board members, was just chatting in Bridge Street Cafe with a guy named Dan. His last name, I believe, is Villarreal. I'm not sure I'm saying that right. He's a Korean War veteran, and he had a painting that he had obtained somewhere and wanted to do a mural, and we kind of started with that idea, and then we kind of reworked it a little bit.
Right.
And we were really trying to recognize people in the military beyond D-Day. We wanted to just kind of take it a little bit further out and more up to date. And so we've had a lot of African Americans, women, even Asians and American Indians, and all kinds of people participating in the military since D-Day. And we wanted a way to kind of recognize service in general as well. So it doesn't even have to be people in the military. It could be anybody in public service, or people at home that were supporting their family members who were fighting overseas. I remember during the Vietnam War that we made care packages and sent them overseas.
Right.
So there were people at home doing things too. So we wanted to kind of broaden that recognition a little bit. And we're going to leave it up to the artists exactly what that looks like. But we're trying to give them some direction. We wanted it diverse.
Right.
And we wanted a little bit more general service oriented than maybe just military.
Right. Right. And tell about where the location's going to be and how you all identified that space.
Okay. The location is Centertown Park. There's a building there owned by a law firm, and we got permission to use the building for the mural. It's centrally located. It's visible from all parts of downtown. So you will see it whenever you're downtown.
Mm-hmm.
So it seemed like an ideal space. We do have other murals in town, but they're kind of hidden.
Right.
You have to know where they are to
Right.
find them.
Mm-hmm.
So this one's going to be right out there.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. And so we got permission from the owner to do it, and he's been very supportive. And we're in the process now of, we have got to call the artist out. That was a big undertaking. We have a grant application out there for a lot of the money, and we're about to send out a request for funds to our as many people we could think of.
Bedford, right.
So that's we're on a time limit if we get the grant from AARP, because it will have to be done by a certain time this year. So we are really looking for funding right now, and tomorrow is Giving Day, which is, if you don't mind my going into a little bit detail about that, it was it was something that was started by SML Good Neighbors, I believe is the name of it.
Yes.
And I think that this might be their third or fourth year, but they what they do is they bring together nonprofits in Bedford and Franklin County only. And they allow them a way to collect donations safely, effectively, efficiently, all through an app that they're using and website and everything. And they got 38 nonprofits this year, and they're expecting to get $200,000, something like that, for these nonprofits. And what you do is on it's tomorrow, the 13th. You just go on, I think it's smlgives.com, and you can donate to one or 30, all 38 if you want, nonprofits. But you do it online. You do it so it's secure, it's safe. You can do all your giving in one day if you want, but just divide up your money online and give to all of them at once, or 3 or 4, whatever where you are. But they're all local, Bedford and Franklin County, so your money's staying local.
Right.
And so it's just fantastic. And then there's a fair tomorrow afternoon at the YMCA in Franklin County at Lake Watch. Or I guess it used to be the YMCA. I'm not really sure if it still is. I guess the other one in Manita is the one that closed.
Right.
Okay. So it's at the YMCA in Lake Watch, and it's 4 to 7, and you can give in person if you want. So the nonprofits will be there set up and allow you to come by and chat and talk to them about what they do, and you can give in person as well.
That's great.
If you prefer. So.
Yeah. And I think I've seen some social media promotion for the SML Gives. But also I think I saw some information on your website as well to link people to the SML Gives. It may not have been on your website. It might have been on your social media.
Yeah, I think it's on social media.
Okay.
I don't think we put anything on the website. That was my fault. I should have thought about it.
I did see it. There are lots of
smlgives.
There are lots of links out there, especially through Facebook. And I think if you just search the SML Gives, that
correct.
That'll come up.
But it's all over social.
Because they were doing some pre-marketing the last week or so to kind of get people prepared.
Yeah. And I'll be putting out on the Bedford Get Together Instagram and Facebook. I'll be putting out another post tomorrow morning.
Awesome.
Last minute reminders.
Right. Well, great. I hope that's successful. So the funds that you all are raising through that will go in to support the mural project, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's exactly what
Is there any approximate timeline that you all are working on for the mural?
Yes.
Start to finish, or?
The artist submissions need to be in by June 1st.
Okay.
We're actually not accepting them till April 15th. So you can go to our website and download the call, and start collecting your materials, but you won't submit them till April 15th.
Right.
And the deadline submission is June 1st. And then we want the artist to get started by July 1st. So we're going to have a busy June picking ultimately gets the contract.
How exciting. So do you all, I don't know, are you all worried that you're going to see some components of different submissions that you might like instead of just one overall? I know because we have a love sign on the side of the Bauer Center. And while we used the high school students here in Bedford County to do submissions, the students either got together, some of them in small groups, some of them individually, and they obviously did a design for the full love. But then we found that we liked certain letters from certain different entries. And we ended up going back and saying, hey, can they collaborate as a group? And we liked, these two students did a L together that we liked, and this student did an O, and we ended up picking and choosing the different letters because they were just so wonderful. Ultimately, that ended up being a great project because more students were involved with it than just like one or two. But are you all worried at all that you're going to...
No, thank you, Susan. I haven't really thought about that to worry about. No, we're really excited to see what we get. And so far, it looks like from our social media posts, it's getting
good
a lot
response.
of traction. So,
great.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll see. But no, we're just excited to get as many submissions as possible. And then, we're going to have to be adults about it. And
Right.
But
well, it has the potential to do other smaller things with other artwork. Down the road. There's
some people have asked us about future murals. And
right.
We're not committing to anything.
Well,
we'd like to encourage other people to get involved.
Yeah, Bauer Center for the Arts is definitely interested in doing some sort of artwork or murals on the other sides of our building and or the wall around the sidewalk there. So maybe there's some potential to take that and use it elsewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I just think it's about time that Bedford got in the mural business because Roanoke and Lynchburg is
absolutely
really
and we have a lot of
their game.
Yeah, we have a lot of walking traffic, especially now that the weather's warming up, and it's a great opportunity to bring folks into the community as well, on top of the retail, shopping, restaurant, arts and culture, the different things that we have to offer, antiques. That's just another nice addition to the community.
Yeah, an opportunity to tell some new stories.
Right. And for folks to gather, hold conversations, things like that. Yes, absolutely. Well, let's remind everybody again the website where they can find all the information.
Okay, it's bedfordgettogether.com.
Okay. I'm going to wrap things up. I want to remind everybody about what's up next for Bauer Center for the Arts. We have our new spring break art camp, April 1st through the 5th, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Kids can be dropped off at 8:30. This is our first full day art camp. It is for ages 6 to 15, and it is limited to 20 youth. The theme is Grow and Groove with the Arts, and scholarships are available. And then our next concert will be Route 2 Music, held on April 2nd at 6 p.m., and they perform a combination of Deep South country blues and Celtic Appalachian fiddle music. So I'm really excited about that one. Our camp registration and concert tickets are available on our website, bowercenter.org, which is where you can also find all up-to-date information regarding our classes for youth and adults, our full schedule of live concerts and performances, our future exhibits, events, and much more. So I want to thank Wendy for joining us this morning, and we'll look forward to having an update in the future.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.